My name is Hazel Millisham and this is the Light on Leeds podcast. This week I spoke to Annabel Harrison and Hester Cox about their upcoming production Zip It. Zip It has an all-female cast and creative team and they're all members of the National Youth Theatre. It's a play about womanhood and female safety. Have a listen. On this episode of the Light on Leeds podcast, I have Annabel Harrison and Hester Cox come to speak to me. Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Thank you both for joining me. And you've come along to tell me about a play that you're putting on, which will be premiering at Stage at Leeds Theatre on the 25th and the 26th of April. The play is called Zip It. Can you tell me a bit about it, how you got involved, how it came to be written?
Yeah, of course. So Zip It follows the lives of two young women and their journey on friendship, womanhood. Womanhood. But it's set in this super dystopian and comedic game show. So it's super funny throughout at times. But yeah, it also touches on women's safety and sexual harassment. It kind of came about just through, I wrote it in the first lockdown. They all kind of get muddled now. I think it was the first lockdown. I wrote it then because I was just really frustrated with like my own experiences and also the horrendous news headlines that just seem to be more and more common. That's kind of why I started writing it, and it's just kind of spiraled from there.
Yeah.
And so sorry, carry on.
I was just gonna say, Annie just sort of said, "Oh, I've written this play." Sent me the script. She was like, "Do you want to come on board with me?" And I was like, "Absolutely."
Yeah.
And it's just sort of grown, really.
The rest is history.
And is this the first play that you've ever written, Annabel?
Yeah, it is. I've always done bits and bobs, but this is the first thing that I'm putting on.
So that must be, I suppose, in equal parts, really exciting, but also
terrifying,
nerve-wracking.
Yeah, it absolutely is. Yeah, it feels like there's a lot of pressure, but I think that also just stems from the, the topics of the play as well. Like we're touching on some really difficult themes, so there does feel like there's a bit of weight behind it, but I guess that also makes it meaningful at the same time.
Yeah, definitely. And Hester, you're the assistant director. So when Annabel got in touch, had you had any experience assistant directing? Was this your first time?
Not on like small little projects here and there, but not like a full play like this. So it's definitely been a learning curve, but it's been so great. And we've sort of done a lot of work together on just little things in the past. So we've sort of got used to working together. So we already had that working relationship, which is great. But yeah, it's just on a whole new scale now.
And how did you both meet each other?
We met at a drama class in Manchester like a couple of years ago, 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And we were like paired together to do a few scenes, and yeah, we just kind of clicked, so they say.
So is it a drama background that you both have?
Yeah, we kind of have different backgrounds in the sense of well, you can say, but you're mainly screen.
Yeah, so I started as a child actor, and I started mainly doing screen and radio work, like bits of theatre here and there, but never like professional theatre. And then I've sort of now trying to get back onto the stage again and doing more stage work as well as screen work.
Yeah, whereas I was always predominantly in theatre as a child from a really young age, and kind of have been involved with that my whole life, and have recently kind of been putting my tiptoe into screen a little bit, but yeah, so we've had kind of different backgrounds in acting really, but they're coming together now.
And so you're both members of the National Youth Theatre. Can you tell me a little bit about that for people who might not have heard of it?
So the National Youth Theatre is an organisation that you can join from when you're 14, and you can be a member up until you're 25. And it's basically you audition to get in, and then once you're in it, you complete a summer course with people roughly your own age. And it's just a great way to meet people, to learn about just being sort of a creative and work as an ensemble. And once you're then a member, there's all sorts of different projects that you can then audition to be a part of, and there's shows, and there's just so many opportunities. And it's just really about championing young people in the creative industries.
Yeah, it really immerses you, with people that, one, are very talented, but two, like the National Youth Theatre's ethos is to be, very diverse and to kind of champion a group of people that have different backgrounds, different cultures. So yeah, it's a really great thing.
That sounds brilliant. And is it did the National Theatre give you any sort of hints and tips on directing and writing your own play, or is that something that you've got that knowledge as you've gone along?
I think that they probably do workshops, because they also have a backstage course. They have various different courses, so they probably do give tips on writing and directing. I've never personally had one, but they've been really supportive throughout this process in terms of asking their graphic designers to kind of come up with a logo for us to use for the play, because everyone in the play is a member. So yeah, I guess that's a good example of meeting people. We met everyone through.
Yeah, we used the National Youth Theatre to like recruit our cast.
Yeah.
And they were really great at helping us do that.
Oh, that's great to get that kind of support, isn't it?
Yeah, it is massively.
And so for people who are going to come along to the play, I'll put lots of links in the podcast notes so people can buy tickets. What can they expect?
Oh, we hope that they have an experience. We hope that they leave feeling like they've been a part of something. Like I say, without giving too much away, the play is set within the framework of a really fun game show. So primarily they'll have a good time. It's very fun. There's a lot of laughs in there. But they should also hopefully leave with a reflection on the more serious topics, such as, women's safety, violence against women, and hopefully just kind of continue the conversation that a lot of great people have already started to do.
Did you feel like you had to sort of balance it out with some comedic parts because of the nature of what it is that you're talking about?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think personally in any creative thing that the serious message doesn't come across as well, or isn't as powerful, without adding in some of that relief. And the comedic aspect just gives the audience that relief and a chance to just enjoy themselves, which hopefully then makes the more serious subject even more kind of powerful.
Yeah, of course. And can you tell me a little bit about why you went for the title of the play, Zip It?
Yeah, of course. The title changed a couple of times, didn't it, along our process? We decided to go with Zip It because we thought it was really fitting. The message of our play very much focuses on complicity and women being able to use their voices and being able to speak out and feeling like they're safe too, more importantly. So we thought that Zip It was kind of fitting to resemble that, I guess.
Yeah. And is that one of the reasons that you went for an all-female cast?
Yeah, definitely. It's such the story focuses so much on women. It only felt right to have women, because there's a lot of multi-rolling. So there are male characters in the piece, but they're portrayed by women. Mm-hmm. And just working in this rehearsal space with all these amazing women, it's such a different environment. And that was something that was really important to me, because when I did my course with the National Youth Theatre, I was in an all-female group, and I'd never been in a creative space like that with just women. And it's so powerful, and it really creates a different environment. So it's been great to bring that into this rehearsal space, and it just creates a sort of safe space for sharing, particularly because of the dark themes. We have shared, or we have sort of reflected or done exercises, and just having this room full of women is so powerful.
Yeah,
that's brilliant. And have you, when you've been going through this process of putting the play on, because you've both obviously had experience acting in different media, how have you found this whole process? Is it something you'll do again, or are you like thinking, we'll never do this again?
No, absolutely
do it again.
It's been amazing so far. I mean, it's very overwhelming. It's very intense. At times we're looking, like Hester said, at some really sensitive themes, and for us to bring out what we need to bring out of this show, we have to kind of look at our own journeys and where we've all come so far. So yeah, it's definitely been a lot, but it's been really, really great.
And it is hard when you're like a young creative with no sort of name behind you to get things on and get things going. But
Yeah.
we've learned a lot doing this, and I definitely think we'll be able to do it again. And it'll be easier, I think, to do another project in the future, having done this one already.
Because we've learned so much through this one,
Yeah, you'll have one under your belt and you'll know
Yeah.
that you can achieve it.
Exactly.
And that should spur you on, shouldn't it?
Yeah, hopefully. Fingers crossed.
And so you're taking the play to the Edinburgh Fringe Festival this summer. That sounds really exciting. So how did that all come about?
It's always been a bucket list thing for me. Going to the Edinburgh Fringe has always been something that I've really wanted to do. I never really anticipated going up there with kind of my own play, which is even more crazy. But yeah, we just after we were, getting through the process of finishing the script, we just applied, didn't we? We just spent a long time applying, didn't know what would come of it, and we
sort of thought we'll see what happens, and if nothing comes about, we'll maybe take it in 2023.
Yeah,
I'm really sorry, both of you. I'm going to stop it there because since you've come back on, I don't know what you can see on your screen, but I can see like the voice file, so I can see my voice going up and down. But yours has completely disappeared. So I think that you've been talking and we've not recorded any of that.
Oh,
so
we can see ours.
Yeah, we can see ours. It's got the waveform.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm just a little bit worried. We'll keep going, and then if something's gone terribly wrong, then we can sort it out, hopefully.
Oh, technology.
Fingers crossed.
Sorry, tell me again about the so you're taking the play to the Edinburgh Fringe Festival this summer.
Yes, we are.
Yeah, so we always wanted to go, and we decided just to apply this year. We were a bit late in the applications because after COVID, a lot of companies were ready really, really early to send in their applications. So we were a bit behind
and
most
passed
people.
on, I guess, from the year before.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that they held it back a year.
Yeah.
So we thought it might be not the year to go. But we sent in our application. We got a great offer from the space. And it was just the perfect location and time slot to stage Zip It, so we accepted, and we're going to go this year.
Yeah, and we're so excited. Like I say,
I bet you are.
Definitely a bucket list thing for us both. So
yeah.
And how does it work when you're applying then to the Edinburgh Fringe? Do you basically send them, the ideas, the script? What happens there?
It kind of varies. Like for each theatre, what they ask for, it's all quite similar. But basically, you reach out to the individual theatres, and like I say, they normally have like an application or submissions form, and they all differ slightly. So some of them do want you to send the script, some just want parts of the script, and then you just go through each one and hope for the best.
So when you got the acceptance, was that a really exciting time?
It was, yeah, really exciting. Really exciting. Definitely popped a bottle of Prosecco that day.
And is it quite difficult, the logistics of getting, because obviously you've worked really hard, you've got this play showing in lots of different places, and then you're going to take it to Edinburgh. How is that? Is it difficult to organise?
Yeah. I think, like Hester said, the tricky thing is at the stage that we're in now is you're doing everything yourself with kind of little give from anywhere. So like it's a lot for us to try and kind of plan and organise. The Fringe should actually be a bit easier for us to do than what we're doing now, because we are bringing more people onto the team. So we'll have more hands, and I think that will make it a lot smoother. But it's definitely not easy. It's definitely a challenge.
And we've made a lot of mistakes along the way that we definitely can learn from.
Absolutely.
But we sort of muddled our way there.
In the end, yeah. We crawled our way here.
I think you've done a great job. It's fantastic.
Thanks.
And good for you.
Thank you.
And are you both from Leeds?
No, I'm from Derbyshire. Annabel.
I originally from Blackpool, now based in Burnley and Manchester. But Annie went to uni in Leeds.
Yeah, I went to uni in Leeds. So
that's your connection.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. And so Hester, if you're from Burnley, have you ever been to Leeds?
Yeah, I have. I often do. I've worked on a number of like student films connected to the uni. So obviously the Northern Film School's up here, and it's great, and the students are absolutely great up here. So there's often a lot of call outs for actors, and it's quite close to me just to hop over the border. So I come quite a bit.
Brilliant. So I'm mainly checking to check that you're both okay to answer the 3 questions.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Annie's definitely better at answering them than me since I've lived here, but I know it a bit.
That's fine then. And obviously you can both have your own answer. You don't have to stick with each other's.
Yeah.
Or the same answer. I really don't mind. So I'm going to ask you first of all, what do you think is great about the city of Leeds?
I've always found since being at uni at Leeds that it was always a really vibrant city, and you kind of get that, I think, when you go to like Manchester, Leeds, Sheffield, but I really love the vibe in Leeds, and it had a really cool arts culture. Obviously there are some really epic theatres here, but the arts culture is really cool, and I love that it's like a multicultural city. It's just, I've always found it really vibrant.
And what about you, Hester? Is that similar?
Yeah, definitely the same. Like I said, like the main reason I come over to Leeds is for the art scene. So I just absolutely love that, and all the theatres are amazing. And it's just that you get a lot of, like a bit like Zip It, just not mainstream theatre. I love that you just get more fringe stuff, and especially like the Playhouse and things. It's great.
Yeah,
there's definitely always a lot of stuff going on culturally.
Yeah.
And if you had to go for something that you think is not so great about the city, what would you go for?
I would say, I mean, I think it's like every place. I think every single place you could say this, but it's got its good and it's got its bad. I think the thing for me, what I found when I was at uni, is a lot of the uni accommodation was right next to Hyde Park areas. And they can be known to be a little bit rough at times, certain times of the night, etc., etc. So I guess that the uni accommodation was situated in a place that maybe didn't feel that safe as a woman. That would be probably pretty much the only thing that I could say off the top of my head.
Same here. Just again, it feels often very fitting when some of us are like in the city at night and we are thinking, oh, it's not quite safe. Might get an Uber home. Don't feel comfortable walking back. Which is exactly what we're doing a play about. But but it's you could say that of any city, really.
Yeah, it's like anywhere, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I think there's that whole thing, isn't there, that women sort of take for granted that when you're walking around anywhere, you constantly, I would imagine, more hyper vigilant than men are, because
absolutely.
You always. I'm always thinking, how am I going to get home? When will I get in? You're always sort of looking for stranger danger, that kind of thing.
It's true though, isn't it? Always thinking like a step ahead, basically.
Looking over your shoulder.
Yeah, exactly. And I just feel like I think for quite a long time I didn't realise how much of that was there, and then and you sort of as well, you don't think back over your life and think, it's kind of like when the Me Too movement happened. At first I was like, oh, I'm not sure anything like that's ever happened to me, but the more I thought about it, I was like, oh God, it happens all the time.
And also it's the reason why I think that is as well, I think it's a really good point. I think it's because it's the what we call sometimes the little things, which actually aren't so little, which is kind of why we call the play Zip It, because women, I think, are kind of silenced into not speaking about these little things and thinking, well, nothing like that's ever happened to me, but actually it has, probably, since you were old enough to remember.
So used to it.
We're just so used to it, and unless it's like as horrendous as the news headlines, we don't think it's a big deal. But
it was those lockdowns, I think, and everyone being shut away, that sort of made me and a lot of my friends sit back and go, hang on, thinking back to day of when we were in clubs or out and about, and just things that would happen that we just were so used to. But then as soon as we were sort of shut away from human contact, that sort of time to reflect, it was like, whoa, why have we just been accepting this?
Yeah, there was definitely a shift, for sure. Maybe that's it correlates with that's why I wrote it at that time, because I think I definitely had that realization of, now I had so much time in my own space, I kind of had a lot of realizations about how we've just normalized these horrendous things that just have a domino effect, and lead to really bad news headlines.
Yeah, absolutely. I completely agree. I think as well, I think it's a great title, Zip It, for what the play is about, because I think that tends to be what happens. You sort of, I didn't realise that I'd internalised all of these things and, zip them up, as it were.
Yeah.
And, it wasn't until sort of there was more things in the media headlines, and like you say, because we were all locked in, so you have a little bit more time to reflect on these things. You start thinking, oh goodness, that's these kind of things have been happening for quite a while, and you just, like you say, you just normalise it, and you just have to absorb it and carry on.
Absolutely. I think a lot of women went through that realisation in COVID, for sure.
And if you had to choose a hidden gem and you had to tell somebody who had been a resident of Leeds for a long time something that they'd never heard of, what would you choose?
I would 100% pick a bar called Domino's, which is not the pizzeria. However, I do love that, but no, it's this jazz bar in Leeds, and you walk through like a hairdresser's to get to it. So it's a hairdresser's in the day, and then at night you kind of walk through, and under the stairs it's kind of a jazz bar, which is really, really cool.
And completely unexpected.
Yeah, really unexpected, and they've got such talented musicians that play there, and it's really vibey. So I definitely say there.
And what about you, Hester? Do you have a hidden gem?
So I've not spent enough time to really find a hidden gem, but the one place that I'm sure everyone knows of it, but it's not really hidden, but one of my favourite places to go, it's also in Manchester and Liverpool, so it's not just to Leeds, but Moose Coffee is like my favourite place to go for breakfast. Good. And their coffee is amazing.
That's a good one. I don't think I've come across that before.
Yeah, so it's a chain. So they've got one in Manchester and one in Liverpool as well, but it's sort of like a northern thing, and it's like all Canadian breakfast, and it's fabulous.
The pancakes there are bomb.
Yeah.
Sounds pretty good to me.
Yeah.
And I imagine that you're both incredibly busy because you're very close to the premiere of the plays. What will you be doing with the rest of your day today?
Where to begin?
Yeah, running. So we're going to do a couple of runs of the play. We're kind of at that stage where we are jumping from thing to thing this week. So we're working on promo, marketing, running the play, set design.
Adding in all the tech now.
Yes,
there's a lot of tech in this show, so this is where the real stress begins.
Yeah.
Yeah, I bet that's quite difficult, is it? So you think like you've got so far and you've got everything sorted, and then you have to sort of add another layer.
Yeah, literally.
This is when we find out where all the problems are and start pulling our hair out.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure you'll do absolutely fantastic. Thank you both for coming to speak to me. I'll make sure, obviously, I put lots of links in the podcast notes, and I hope you get lots of people that come and see you. It sounds like a great play. And good luck for the Edinburgh Fringe Festival.
Oh, thanks. I really appreciate it. Thank you for having us.
Thank you for coming along.
Bye-bye. Bye.
It was fantastic chatting to Annabel and Hester about Zip It and how it came about. You can go and see it at Stage at Leeds on Monday the 25th and Tuesday the 26th of April. There's lots of links in the podcast notes so that you can catch up and go and see it yourself. The featured track on this episode is the beautiful Worry Not by Emma Johnson's Gravy Boat. This particular version was recorded by Good Boy Live Sessions at the Northern Monk Refectory, and I think you're going to really enjoy it.
What's happening in this great city?